Welcome to the Delco Nerd Network Hot Takes. What is a hot take, you may ask? Well, it's where we sit down and we give a little bit of a review, give a little bit of our thoughts about a certain game or a certain movie. Here, today, we're going to discuss a certain movie, and that movie is Blade Runner 2049, the sequel to the hit Blade Runner. And here to discuss, Chris Trio, my co-host, of course.
How you guys doing?
Just the two of us.
Yeah, just the two of us today. It's been a while. You know, it's good to be back.
I think the last time we did just the two of us was Injustice or like Wonder Woman.
Easily. Which,
yeah.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice when it's not just on us too. Which, I mean, it's not like we're doing it to ourselves. We get the movies that we usually, it's us too. We like discuss, but...
Yeah, Tim was gonna be here, but he had some difficulties with his schedule. I mean, I was gonna try to get a third person on, but
stuff happens.
Was just like, yeah,
you're stuck with our ugly mugs for today.
Anyway, Blade Runner 2049, my movie of the year, to be honest. See,
it's just so okay. Here, I'm kind of just mad with myself because I was hyped for this movie. I was very excited. I was pretty excited. All the marketing really hit it for me. I liked the looks they were going for, like the red and blue posters with Harrison Ford, and then it's like Harrison Ford in the red background, and then it's Ryan Gosling getting out of his car in the blue. And I was like, I really like all this. I like where it's going, and I got into it. And it was just 2.5 hours of, guys, where are we going? Like,
I didn't think that at all.
I was sitting there.
There was one part in the movie. We're not in spoilers yet.
No.
One part in the movie towards the end where I was kind of like, all right, can this end?
And don't get me wrong. Like, technically speaking, this is actually bringing it back to Baby Driver for me too. Technically speaking, I think this movie looks awesome. The shots are really cool.
Yeah,
it's directed really well. The acting's awesome, but I just was like, I felt like you could have cut an hour off this movie, and I would have been like, you know what? There's the perfect movie, because the whole first hour was like. So basically, this isn't a spoiler. The beginning of the movie is basically it's Ryan Gosling. He's a Blade Runner. He's going to take out a replicant that's been on the run, and he gets there, and he goes through his whole spiel, and he's like, you haven't witnessed a miracle, it's Dave Bautista, and stuff like that, and I thought that was all cool, that whole interaction, but then from that hour on, once you find out, this is very early spoilers, you find out that they find a replicant that gave birth to another replicant, and that's never happened before, and I feel like you're just spending that whole hour and 15 minutes of him just trying to figure out where this person and where I just feel like they could have been covered in 15 minutes. Where it's just him staring at this. And
I think that was the whole point of the movie, building up to the conclusion. Like, okay, he's putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and sometimes that puzzle doesn't come out
right away
correct, or he's like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then he has this identity. What's the
AI? You mean?
No. He has an identity crisis where he doesn't know who.
Oh
he
yeah,
is,
I mean, even you can see that from that is, and that's the kind of stuff I like. Like you see it at the beginning, where he's just kind of sitting there. He's sitting in his own apartment, and you can tell he's kind of just doing life. And I mean, but you see him act almost human though when that first interaction with Bautista.
All right,
he's acting like a normal.
We got to get into spoilers. So in the first 5 minutes, we find out that Ryan Gosling's a replicant.
Yeah, which is.
It's a spoiler.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess that is.
One thing I liked, because they could have easily put one line in a trailer that's telling us that he's a replicant.
Yeah,
but they didn't, and I'm glad they didn't. They saved it, and within the first scene of the movie, you find out he's a replicant, and I was like, oh shit! And then after that, I think Ryan Gosling really portrayed the replicant persona well.
I will give that to you.
And then
100%.
As the movie progressed, when you find out he could possibly be this child. That the replicant, who we find out is Rachel from the original Blade Runner.
Decker's girl, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a good portion of the movie where you think he's the kid, and he starts acting a little more human, and he just gets a little more emotional.
More comfortable. And it's true, and that stuff I thought
I think that's cool.
I thought it was cool, and I actually really enjoyed. That was a little spoilerish, but
I just said spoilers.
Yeah,
I was going to say, we can't talk about this without.
So. With stuff I kind of liked, it kind of got very Hurish for me, though, was the stuff with his AI girlfriend. And like I
You
thought
didn't
that
like
was
that?
I did actually. I thought it was
I thought the sex scene was pretty cool.
I thought it was interesting, how she brought in the girl and then she basically overlaid over the girl to have sex with it. It was definitely an interesting mechanic. I thought it was cool. I liked the girl who played the actual AI was very interesting. And then there was a lot of this playoff of how you could see the AI being advertised on the street, and then like when it goes, what are you, a Joe or something, like she says the name that the AI calls him. And I feel like that almost just brings him even down more a peg. He's like, well, maybe I wasn't that special. Maybe that's just what they're programmed to kind of say.
Well, I mean, in the end, he wasn't.
No, no, I'm saying the AI to him.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. A lot of this, like the scenery and stuff, is stuff I just feel like we've seen. But I just keep hearing people talk about this stuff of like this is a cinematic masterpiece, and it's a cool movie. But I honestly liked Ghost in the Shell a little bit better than this.
Wow.
I really visual.
I disagree. I think the plot was just, I don't know. I think the fact that it kept you on your toes.
Like, what was Jared Leto's goal?
Okay, Jared Leto doesn't matter.
No, but that's the thing. He just wanted. I get he wanted the child, but like to learn what?
To conquer planets. He literally says it, and it's stupid motivation. Honestly, like Jared Leto's performance was like all right.
I thought he was actually awesome. I really liked every scene he was in.
Every time I heard him talk, I just heard the Joker.
Really?
Every sentence I was like...
I felt like he changed his voice enough to the point... I didn't hate him at all.
No, I
just
didn't dislike it.
Let's put it this way. I wish they focused more on his side of what he was trying to do rather than like Decker and...
I don't think we needed that. I don't think we needed the villain to be like the main focal point of the movie because it was really about...
what was it about, though?
It was about him. It wasn't about
It was
Decker.
about him finding his humanity. I get that in a way. But
like having this like
I just felt like we went from A to B and nothing really happened besides Decker found out he knew he had a daughter. So spoilers. So basically you're poised to think that's another thing. You're poised to think throughout the whole movie that Ryan Gosling is his son.
Yeah, it makes you think that like 100%.
100%. And then all of a sudden you realize he's talking to this other replicant and she goes, "Oh, well, the first daughter to be born," and he's like, "No, wait, I thought it was a son." And then she goes, "No." And then he realizes like Decker talked about scrambling the records.
Yeah,
and
so
trying
basically
to cover
they
their tracks.
falsified records to cover their tracks. So it was a girl, not a boy.
And I mean, it makes total sense. So because he goes to this memory maker to figure out if this one memory of his was real, and then that memory maker ends up, spoilers, being Decker's daughter.
Yeah, and like it makes sense because her story and like what. And I mean, she says happens to the kid is like parallel. And she cries when she sees the memory because it's hers.
Exactly. And that's and thinking back, that was cool. I enjoyed that. I thought that was a cool touch. But at the same time, I was like, I kind of wanted it to be Ryan Gosling. Like I was kind of severely disappointed when it wasn't him.
So going back to like the plot thing, I think the movie's plot is truly like an internal versus external with Kay and Ryan Gosling's character. Like it's not about Decker.
And Decker's Decker's a replicant then, right?
No.
Or is he not?
So I'm confused. Straight up, Wallace, Jared Leto's character, literally tells him he's not a replicant. There's a line of dialogue. It's a sentence. He says something about how.
Is it when he meets him? He's like, "I've been meaning to meet you. I couldn't have waited to meet you for a while." Or is it like after that?
It's in the scene where he's in the office. But I'm pretty sure, and I could have heard it wrong, but I'm pretty sure he tells him straight up he's not a replicant.
So then...
I don't think Decker's a replicant.
So was the combination of the replicant and the human the thing that made the baby possible? Or like
I don't think that's the point of the movie.
See,
I really
that's
don't.
I don't understand.
That's not what you're supposed to be thinking about.
Then what am I supposed to be thinking about?
That's like a MacGuffin. It's really like a MacGuffin. It's just there to
maybe I'm just dumb,
to forward the plot, but it is truly about the struggle that Ryan Gosling's character has in the movie.
And I think that's... It was really cool, and Gosling was awesome. He really was. He really killed it, and I thought I feel like I saw this one picture online today, and it was like Harrison. It was Harrison Ford going to his costume designer for Blade Runner. Nah, fuck off, because it's just him in a t-shirt and jeans.
It's pretty funny.
And I thought he was cool. It was like an hour and a half before we got to Decker, right? Or at least an hour.
And I like that, dude. One thing I don't like about this type of movie, without seeing it, like a sequel to a movie that was made in like the 80s or whatever, is the fact that they're gonna bring in Harrison Ford, who's 70 years old, and they're gonna make a joke about him being old or some shit. And like, I hate it. I hated it.
Did they make an old joke about him? I don't think
no, but he
no, I know, yeah.
A lot of his lines were humor, which I was like,
yeah, I guess.
Like, I just hate it. I just hate how they do that. And like that, like he ended up like it was when they first meet him. His lines were kind of humorous, but like. I liked what Harrison Ford did and the way his character was written for the movie. But, like, yeah, like, they do it in Star Wars all the fucking time. Force Awakens, to be more precise. But, yeah, like, I don't like how, like, movies bring in the older actor from the original and, like, have them just be, like, humor and, like, make fun of the fact that they're old.
They're old, yeah.
Yeah,
and no, that's totally fair.
Like
I just... By the time we got to Harrison... To Deckard,
it is a long movie.
I just really think that even if they shaved off half an hour... There was just a lot of exposition for me. I really think
I could bite that.
And even I was talking, I've seen the first one in parts. I've gotten the whole lowdown. I know what happens. And even I saw it with Super, who's probably he's not like the biggest Blade Runner fan out there, but he's the most Blade Runner fan that I know. And he said, and he was like, yeah, it was okay. I mean, this is what I said. I was like, there was a little bit too much exposition, and I just felt like it took a lot of time to say what it was trying to say. And he was like, that's what I found with the first one,
I think that's, like, Batman vs. Superman does that. And that's why I like it. Because, like, it doesn't just go straight into it. It kind of, like... builds it and builds it.
And I guess with Batman vs Superman, where it kind of gets away with that for me is I'm a lot more interested in that in that lore.
But quick, like Cullen Boyle is a huge Blade Runner fan.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get him on, but he's at school and stuff, and he was just busy, so he couldn't come on. But he fucking loved it, and he really likes Blade Runner, and he's the only person I know who like he's the Blade Runner guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cullen Boyle, and I like, and he was like,
Super.
dude, it was. He really liked it, and I like got out of the movie, and like I get a Snapchat from him, and he's like, "I've been changed." I was like, "Yes," I just really liked it. I thought the plot was really moving because it wasn't. It's not about the villain. It's not about Deckard. It's about Ryan Gosling's character experience
and
who he
saying
is,
that. I do think that's
crisis.
cool. I think it's he's finding his humanity throughout the entire movie, and I do think that's cool. But at the same time, I guess. Get rid of Leto's character. Get rid of all these other extra. Focus more on that and give me a more concise, more connect.
It's kind of funny though. Like Dave Bautista's character Sapper is only in the first 5 minutes and the short,
and he was playing,
Leto's character is only in a few scenes scattered throughout the movie.
He's probably got 20 minutes total of
It's pretty interesting how like those two like big name actors are barely in the movie.
I felt a little.
Which I don't mind.
I
didn't think it's a bad thing.
I don't want to say it like this, but it's the only word I can think of. It's tricked. Because like I felt like Leto was going to be more of the driving force of the evil. And I guess, and I get what you're saying. I like the fact that it was focusing more on the existential rather than the actual, like, oh, this is what's happening and there's a bad guy. And he's bad because that.
And the reason I like identified it at is because the original Blade Runner is
totally the
first Blade Runner's plot is like fucking nothing. It's about about Deckard killing 4 replicants. That's the fucking plot.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not plot driven at all. It's more about like what you get out of like the conclusion of the plot and like the tears in the rain speech that Roy Batty says. And mind you, if you need to watch the original Blade Runner before you see this movie, you're gonna get a lot out of it more. Like if you go in and you haven't seen it, I feel like it won't. Not that it won't.
I just don't think that's true. I do.
I just feel like you're doing like a disrespect by not seeing it. Just
watching that first, I've tried to watch that first movie multiple, and I guess that just speaks to what this second movie did for me. And it's just, all right, I'm walking through this alley. I'm walking to get that, and I get it. And I was really excited because I thought that they were gonna make and I do want a little bit more action. I'm sorry, I need something to keep me.
There wasn't that much action.
Engaged, and I just wasn't finding it. And it really, and I'm sad because I wanted to enjoy this movie. I really did. And I was going in exciting. I thought they did. I just think overall they didn't do anything crazy. And I hear people talking about like this is the pinnacle of what sequels could be. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
I think
it's so much retreading.
I think that's a good point.
I just think
I don't
really
think it's retreading. Not
even in like I don't mean literal story wise. I mean like visually wise. Like we've seen this not apocalyptic, but this very far future LA condensed lifestyle. There's flying cars. The buildings are really close. There's these gigantic holograms and stuff like that. I just feel like it's been kind of shot to death, and that's why I really like I said with Ghost in the Shell, it hit all these points for me. Like the visual style, the story I actually thought was a little bit more easy to follow. And just the whole, just overall aesthetic, it nailed. And not to say that Blade Runner didn't, because obviously it did. It looks awesome, but it's just like, it didn't do anything brand new for me. I don't know, and so that sucks.
Did you watch the 3 shorts?
I watched some of them. It's like I know it's like Leto's, like it's how he came to like power and shit like that.
Yeah, it kind of
gives
some exposition on Leto, and then exposition on Sapper, and then exposition on the Blackout, which I think is the most important one, because the Blackout kind of explains like there was like this era where they lost like all this data.
Yeah.
Like literally, like it was gone due to this like blackout that a replicant rebellion staged, and it's hard to keep track of like all like the some records old are gone
because
if they're not paper or physical.
Ryan Gosling's character goes to basically find out about the old replicant. Which when he's talking to the guy about the yellow sheet, was he talking to him about Deckard, or was he talking to him about Rachel?
What do you mean?
Because he goes to the file room and there's that one weird guy that's totally bald and he hands him the thing and he's like, oh, this is an old number. We gotta. I don't know. This is during the blackout days. So was he trying to figure out shit about Rachel at that point?
I think it was Rachel's serial number.
Okay. Yeah. And I just wish it just sucks because I was going into this, like I said, I really was hoping to enjoy this movie. I saw all the reviews. I don't think I had really high expectations.
I went in very middle. Like, I didn't think it was going to be bad, and I didn't think it was going to be, like, fucking great, and I ended up really liking it.
Like, there's a lot of pieces I love, but, like, I just can't remember a lot of... It really dived for me in a lot of the places, and I don't even mean that... Like, this is a solid... For me, this is a solid 7 to 8 on a 10 scale movie for me. Easy. And I enjoyed it. I might watch it again, and who knows, maybe on my second time around, I enjoy it more and kind of catch the little...
Careful with the table.
No, I'm sorry. Catch the little... like do's and don'ts, of course, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else. Like design, like his vehicles and stuff. Design wise, I thought there was some really cool, just environmental choices.
The sound design was nice.
It was awesome. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It really
the soundtrack was very original Blade Runner, and I really
there were
liked it.
some
Hans Zimmer, of course.
There were some awesome scenes, like I said, in between, like the scene when they're in the ocean and he's trying to save Deckard and he chokes out what's her face? What's her name?
I think she's just she's a Wallace Wan.
Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy the way, because she stabs him and then he basically pops out of nowhere to save Deckard, and just the way he chokes her out, I was like, this is fucking visceral. Like I was like, Jesus Christ. And that was probably one of the biggest scenes where I was like, really like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think.
So the one point in the plot that I thought was like, all right, was right after they captured Deckard, and they were kind of like, basically from when Deckard gets captured in Las Vegas to when when the ship crashes.
Yeah.
That part, I felt like, I was like,
what's going on? Yeah.
I was like, can we like finish this up?
See, like
but I did like the part where like they bring in like the Rachel replicant that they remade, and that we get with the facial reconstruction thing, which was good. I thought was pretty solid.
See, that looks like a real person to me.
And I loved how her silhouette, like you knew who it was based on her
just
silhouette,
how she looked,
her shoulder pads, and like
she looked super 80s, which I loved, like that 80s style of futuristic, anyways.
And then I really thought it was super like deep when he's like, her eyes were green,
and then
the Wallace One takes out the gun and just kills her, and it's just like, fuck. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
See, and that's like, I liked how menacing Leto's I wanted to just see more of his motives. Like that's where I was really interested in, and I just didn't get it. And
I don't think we needed it, but like, the writing would have
and even like
different.
when the way it ends kind of confused me too, because I knew it was coming, but I was like, it's ending.
I think I was like, once we got to like that point, I was like, I know how this is gonna end. And
I would have liked for them
him going in there, putting his hand on, and boom.
I would have liked to seen the last half hour past that, and then taken out a half hour in between or something. I don't know.
I really hope they don't make a sequel.
I agree. I don't think they will, but you know, it's Hollywood. Who the fuck knows these days? I think they kind of left it on this note of where they did leave it an open book, but at the same time, they could easily close it down.
I mean, the original Blade Runner was kind of like that, too. It ends on a very similar kind of note.
I guess that's just why, like,
It's thought provoking.
It is.
That's the point. Like,
and I guess I'm like the thing. Like I said with Leto, I'm just like, you're setting up. He wants this child to dissect and figure out. But like, for what does he want? Just a new line of replicants? Like, what is
he needs
the fact?
He needs to figure out how he can't create replicants fast enough.
Okay.
So he wants to be able to figure a way to how to create them.
But
faster.
if they can give birth, though, then they don't even need to be created anymore. Would be the idea.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess that is it. But at the same time...
But it's super ambiguous because they never really tell you how replicants are made. And like
exactly, he just kind of falls out of...
That's up for you to like.
I kind of like to just think of...
And it doesn't matter. It
totally,
really doesn't. It really doesn't matter how.
Because like you don't really... Like, are they mechanical? Are they biomechanical
I think
based?
they're
Or are they
like bioorganic. But like they're clearly like...
Because they bleed. They always...
They're organics.
So they're almost like a clone in a way. Not... Like, just by principle, not by literal definition.
Like,
they're not cloning someone, but...
the Nexus 6s are, like, designed... Like, Roy Batty and the one dude who gets shot by Rachel in the original...
Yeah.
They're two different models because the other dude is, like, super strong, and, like, Roy Batty isn't.
Okay.
And same with, like, Pris. And,
Alright.
like, I'm pretty sure they're all Nexus 6s, and... But, like, they're different. Oh, Roy Batty's a combat model.
Okay.
The dude who gets killed in the alley by Rachel is, like, a slave labor model. That's what it is. And then there's Nexus 7s, and then the 8s, and then that was it with Tyrell. And then Wallace came in.
Okay.
So, most of all the replicants are Tyrell replicants, I'm pretty sure.
Which are the new ones, right? Or the older
old ones. Yeah,
okay.
That's why it's hard to track them down, because... They were all made
pre-blackout, so that's all been erased or scrambled.
They never really show the Wallace replicants besides like his assistant, who was pretty cool.
I really liked the chick.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff like if you think about it, and it's just like, well, they didn't explain it. It's like, well, they don't have to. It's just like it's just about closure and like understanding more than it is about understanding the world, not the plot. You know, like it's just like, oh well, you know. What about the Wallace wands?
I thought it was I thought it was going into more of these questions about like life and what is, and I thought they were getting into it with but I don't know. It just doesn't close out the book well enough for me, sadly, and I really wish because like when I finished the movie, I wasn't like I didn't like that. I was just indifferent. I was just like
fucking.
I was just like I don't know how I felt like because. I get it. He sees his daughter. He's going to be... So she doesn't actually have a disease. She's just in there so no one would fuck... No, I thought the idea was that she was just in there to not be... Like, so no one would suspect or even have the option to, like, test on her or anything.
See, I wasn't sure if she knew. Well, she doesn't really know what Deckard looks like.
Well, no, I think because it looks like she knew who he was when they walked.
I don't think so. Not at first. Not when she was talking to him. When she was walking up, maybe, like, right there.
I mean, they never talk, though. He just walks up and...
She says something like, oh, isn't it beautiful? And says something else to him.
I mean, it seemed like to me she gave a look of knowing. At least that's what I read from it.
But not verbally, but like physically,
that's what I'm saying. Like she gave that look of like, oh, I know who you are.
Yeah.
But it just was...
So
I didn't like that bait.
What would you rate the movie?
It's a 7 for me.
Okay, I think it's like it's a 10 for me. I like besides cutting out all the superhero shit because we're so biased towards it.
Of course.
Like Blade Runner. Blade Runner was like a Max Fury Road for me. I went in like having no expectations. Mind you, I've never seen any of the Mad Maxes. And like I went into Fury Road and I was like, fuck, what the hell was that?
And like even
awesome.
from like I'm bringing it back to it for last month. Check out that hot take. Like that was a 2.5 hour movie for me, but that was one where I was in and out and I was like, that was fucking awesome. And I love it when I get that feeling and it saddens me when I don't. And obviously there's something to this movie. It's getting 9s all over the board. Everyone seems to really like it.
I've heard either they love it or they don't. I really like our
I just
opinions,
thought it was super fine.
Our opinions are like what I've heard. Like either they're fucking into it or they're just kind of like, eh.
Like I wish it did a little bit more for me. But hey, you can't love every movie, sadly. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't think we missed anything major.
No, not really.
We talked Leto, we talked Decker, we talked Kay. I loved her. Like I said, I did like the AI stuff that they did with him and his, like, basically AI girlfriend. Set design was pretty cool. A lot of the larger shots for me, like I said, just seemed kind of samey.
Talked about the music. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we hit all the marks we needed to hit. Yeah. Again, I think you should go see it. But I really think you should watch the original Blade Runner before you go see it. You don't need to watch the shorts.
Yeah,
But, like, you need to see the original Blade Runner.
Yeah,
I think it's.
And I was
important.
talking. Like I said, I talked to my one buddy who saw it. He was like, "You didn't need to see the original at all to get all that."
Who?
Super. He just for obviously the little, like, you see Deckard's old partner, and there's some other references, but for the most of it, I could wrap my head around it. It was just that, like,
but I don't know. I think it, like, just gives a context.
And I really think, like, of course,
like
you
with
watched
games.
it. Of course, you just watched it last week. But I do think that this, for a movie that, like, if you saw in the 80s and you've been waiting for this movie
it's
for a
a lot
while,
different.
and, like, it's probably super different for you, and you probably find a lot
like
more
the
to
original,
like about
the
it.
original Blade Runner. I thought it was very okay. It's super. It's very much like the original Ghost in the Shell, the anime. And it's, like, super short,
I mean,
it's not long, and it's very ambiguous, the ending, and it's really up to you to take in whatever just happened.
And I mean, Blade Runner, you can't shit on, because that's a movie that really, it did inspire technically
it's a
for
base.
generations.
It's a
Yeah,
base,
it really is. Like, that is the movie a lot of movies look back to. It really, it made that genre
So,
of sci-fi.
Real quick,
thing.
I never knew in Fallout New Vegas, that gun is that Deckard's gun.
That is actually
I never
the 10
knew.
millimeter. Is it the 10 millimeter? Or is it the?
No, it's like a special, like, revolver, and it's Deckard's gun.
That's actually really
I
cool.
never knew
I didn't know that
and
either.
I guess it doesn't have a name, and they just called it that gun.
That's actually
Yeah,
awesome.
you get it from. I think you buy it.
It's
off
called
of
that gun.
It's called that.
I
gun.
do remember that.
Remember,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
this machine
Yeah.
and that gun. Yeah.
This machine, I used to fuck some people up with that, but that's a
Yeah.
whole nother podcast. I think that about covers
Yeah,
this
real
stuff.
quick before they do the outro. So, for this month for games, we're doing Shadow of War. And that should be towards the end of the month. For the podcast, we're doing a Batman v Superman debate with two guests we haven't had before, and then me and Trio.
Yep.
Next month will be November.
Justice League for the movie.
Justice League for the movie.
Game. We're
Do
still.
we want to do AC Origins? I think
I'm
it's
trying to think of
probably
what
that.
other
Because,
games
I mean,
come out.
it comes out the 27th of November, and we're not going to be able to fucking finish a game.
Let's tentatively, we'll talk.
Tentatively, it's Origins. And,
but we'll see what happens.
and then for the podcast, I think we're thinking about doing like all four of us just come in and bring
with a mini
topics.
topic. Yeah.
And then December, movie will be Star Wars. I was thinking about the game being Star Wars too, Battlefront. And then
Are you picking it up, by the way? Have you decided? Did that beta do anything? I was curious. I meant to ask you.
I
still
like
on
the
the fence?
beta. It's better, but like I like Galactic Conquest. The flight is, what it is. But like the strike game mode fucking sucks. It's so boring.
I mean, I just think that comes from it. You're just playing on one map the entire time.
True.
But I actually liked it. I only played it like once or twice.
It's
See,
still
that's the
up.
thing. And it's smaller. That's your smaller game mode too. But no, I hear you.
And then
That's
for the
fair.
podcast for December, we're going to do Game of the Year. And that's going to be right after the Game Awards. We'll do a podcast. I'm not sure if we're going to literally do it that night
or
whatever.
the day after or so.
Yeah, but that's...
we'll try
and
and
then
figure it out.
I was thinking like we probably give our like top 5 games for the year or something, or just whatever games that were
Oh, I think that's a good idea.
the best for the year.
Excuse
and then
me.
and then we can just talk about the award show.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
the categories.
Is it gonna be another stream one, right?
Yeah.
Still Jeff Keighley and
Yeah,
stuff doing that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Expect today.
Awesome. Dude, Justice League trailer drop. I'm so excited for that movie. Oh
All right.
my god. Anyways, thank you all for watching the Delco Nerd Network. You can find us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network, on both Twitter and Instagram at the Delco Nerds, at youtube.com/Delco Nerd Network. Like, subscribe, share. We love it when you guys do that. And check us out whenever you want. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Stay nerdy.